Hello and welcome back to our little 2012 Formula 1 season in AMS2 in virtual reality. Today we're here in Sao Paulo for the Brazilian Grand Prix and it is raining. With both championships decided in favor of Lewis Hamilton and McLaren already, it will hopefully still be an exciting race with pressure taken away from the top drivers. We'll be competing as Nico Hülkenberg in his Force India today. In the real 2012 race he was actually battling for the win with the McLarens in similarly wet conditions, but crashed with Lewis Hamilton while trying to overtake him for the race lead. Today we'll try to repeat his awesome race, but without crashing out of course. Let's look at today's starting grid ahead of the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix here in Interlagos. And once more it will be Lewis Hamilton starting from pole position. What a second half of the season he is having. Sebastian Vettel, quite the opposite second half. He starts in P2, Fernando Alonso in third, then it is Mark Webber, Kimi Räikkönen, Felipe Massa, Jenson Button, Michael Schumacher, Nico Rosberg. For once, both Mercedes in the top 10, good result for them finally. And Kamui Kobayashi rounds out the top 10. And then we have Romain Grosjean, ourselves Nico Hülkenberg starting from P12. Just behind us is our teammate Paul di Resta, and then it is Pastor Maldonado, Sergio Perez, Jean-Eric Vergne, Bruno Senna, Daniel Ricciardo, Heikki Kovalainen and Vitaly Petrov. And here we are in our grid spot in P12 for the Brazilian Grand Prix 2012, and the final race of the season is underway. And we get quite a good start. We are already making it past Kamui Kobayashi. Ahead of us there is a little bit of a collision between Rosberg and Massa. So we make it past the Mercedes, but he has the better line through turn 3. We're on the outside line where there is a lot of water, so we had a lot to do to keep our car under control, and Rosberg with half a spin into the Ciudad do Lago. But we ran a little wide there. This is a spot on the track where there's lots and lots of water, so we need to be careful there. As we are now having to deal with Romain Grosjean, who tried to make a move down our inside there, but we managed to stay ahead. As we are now following Rosberg through the technical bit of this track, where the drivers are taking it really cautious, which is a fine thing to do because we know in the rain it is so important to just keep it on the track. As we all spin our rear tires and have a massive tank slapper, so Romain Grosjean makes it past, but the main thing is that we still managed to keep it on the track. Now our teammate is behind us, so we are back into P12. This is just where we started this race. On the bottom of your screen you can see the top 10 going into lap 2. Alonso has taken the lead from Hamilton, so good start from the Ferrari driver. Vettel down in third. We won't turn up there at all because, as already said, we are in P12. And on the Reta Oposta we are trying to make a move on Romain Grosjean to take back 11th. Late on the brakes into the Ciudad do Lago. Too late on the brakes as we lock our tires, or our tires just slither on, and we take the Verstappen line into that corner. So Grosjean slips back through. As behind us, I think Maldonado made it past Di Resta. No, he didn't. There was just a Williams in our mirror. I don't know what was happening there. Maybe he spun off. I don't know. Really hard to catch everything that is going on here, as we are late on the brakes to make it past Romain Grosjean, and we are back in P11. And there is already kind of a gap. Yeah, and we once more have to take care through Junsao, as there is a lot of water as well, a lot of flowing water as well, as it goes downhill there, and standing water in the pit there. So that is a little bit of an issue. So you really need to be careful with the throttle there, as we are entering lap 3 right now. Oh, and there is another half collision with Massa, who lost a lot of time through the Senna as once more, just as it was at the start of this race. But we weren't able to take advantage of that. Oh, once more, late on the brakes, and once more, we have half a spin there. We've seen that happen to other drivers. This is the first time it happened to us. Earlier we just ran wide, but this is the first time this happened to us. So Junsao and the Ciudad do Lago really being the most dangerous corners in these conditions right now, as there is just so much water. It is hard to keep your car under control there. But we are catching up to Massa again quite quickly, as Kobayashi is holding up Schumacher. So there is quite an interesting battle going on ahead of us. If we make it past these three, we would be in the points. Massa looking for an alternate line going into the center, as he's not close enough to make a move, I'm afraid. Schumacher still staying behind Kobayashi. Oh, sorry, I mixed up the Mercedes. So this is Rosberg ahead of us. Of course, we did make it past him at the start. Oh, and there is a spin. And kind of a collision between all three of them. So we make it past Rosberg, Kobayashi, and Massa in one corner, as they had kind of a collision there, the three of them. Oh, and ahead of us there has been a spin, and this is Jenson Button, so we make up another spot and are now running in P7 already, so the top drivers also struggling in these conditions. And we just reached the next fighting group, and this time this goes all the way up to P3. We are now behind Raikkonen, Webber, Vettel, Michael Schumacher, and, well, ourselves now in 7th. Could this be the chance for Hülkenberg to stand on the podium? On the main straight there is just a lot of spray with the high speeds these cars are still getting in the rain. And the water really being flung everywhere. It is hard to see there, as we were just taking an alternate line to see where we're actually going, as we're now behind Schumacher. This time it is Schumacher. Late on the brakes into the Ciudad do Lago, but yeah, this was a little too ambitious. We were way too far behind to properly make a move. DRS under these conditions obviously disabled. As we're seeing them battle, we are now trying around the outside of Schumacher, who makes it past Vettel. So this is the man to beat right now, as Vettel is trying to make it past Schumacher once more. And we make it past the German as well. So Schumacher, shortly after gaining a spot, losing out to Vettel and ourselves, to his compatriots. As we are now trying to get a good run on the main straight against Sebastian Vettel. We are close in the slipstream. Trying to go on the inside through the center, and we make it past. We squeeze through the German and are now already up into P5. So a good lap for us, as we just made it past two more cars. And now it's only Raikkonen and Webber standing between ourselves and Champagne. Well, that and a lot of laps and a lot of rain. As Vettel now trying to get back down our inside. Doesn't work for him. Webber really able to go quicker than Raikkonen, you can really see that, but he miscalculates his line through that corner and we just slip through down the inside as he was trying to take an alternate line to maybe get past the Lotus, but that cost him a spot rather than him gaining one. And now another run on the main straight. May this already be a good chance for us to make it past Raikkonen. We are getting close and we are choosing the inside lane just as we did with Vettel, but Raikkonen really late on the brakes, so he is really ambitious going into the centers, but this is actually working, so great defending by the Finn, by the Iceman. And now on the Red Posta we tried once more, he's defending the inside line, but we don't dare to go late on the brakes, as well we know that this is such a difficult corner in these conditions, so we choose to overtake him elsewhere to prevent us spinning out or crashing out, just like Hülkenberg did on the actual 2012 race. We don't want that to happen at all, as he lost pretty much a safe podium there. As we are now late on the brakes against Raikkonen with a surprise move into turn 11, and that actually worked. So we are now up into P3 and we managed to stay ahead Raikkonen as well. And a couple of laps later we see the next car up on the horizon. This is Lewis Hamilton, the race leader, who was in P2 a couple of laps ago, but Fernando Alonso from the race lead took a weird gamble as he switched onto intermediate tires briefly, but instantly realized that it is not suitable, the intermediate tire in these conditions. So he completely dropped out of the top 10 as he had to switch back onto full wets just the lap after. So we are now up into P2 and chasing Hamilton. We're just over 1 second behind the world champion to be. Oh, who also struggles going into the Cida do Lago. Half a spin for Hamilton. So we are now really close to the McLaren driver, but running a little wide through there, managing to keep our car under control. And now being close once more. What a race for Nico Hülkenberg. As we are trying to use an alternate line going towards Junsao, Hamilton almost pushes us into the grass, so we have to back out of that move. This is where we made it past Michael Schumacher a couple of laps ago. Now there is a lapped car in our way, and this is our teammate Paul Di Resta, so he may even be able to help us out here, as he held up Lewis a little bit, and we are now very close and are getting a good run on towards the main straight. We are on the outside using our curse boost. We are now ahead of Hamilton, but the Senna is coming up. Hamilton with the inside line is later on the brakes as we are trying to make it, almost making contact with our teammate there. And now maybe a chance for a counter-attack going on the Retro Posta, but this isn't really where you would overtake, as the Cida do Lago is just so slippery, and Lewis Hamilton has to experience that right now. Hamilton almost spins, and we make it past. Nico Hülkenberg takes the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix in the rain. What an impressive and surprising race this is up until that point. Nico Hülkenberg is now our new race leader. And for us, the race has been pretty eventless, as we are now coming around the final proper corner on the final lap of this race. so that Nico Hülkenberg is about to win the Brazilian Grand Prix 2012 in extreme wet conditions. Nico Hülkenberg wins in Interlagos. The final race of the 2012 season is over, and what a race it has been. And here are our final results. Nico Hülkenberg wins for Force India. Lewis Hamilton 11.5 seconds behind. What a dominant race. We never looked back after taking the lead. Sebastian Vettel finishes in third. Then it is Kimi Räikkönen. The podium evaded him once more. Another fourth spot for the Iceman. Then it is Jenson Button in fifth, who kind of recovered from his spin. Schumacher finally another decent result for the 7-time world champion in his final race of his career. Fernando Alonso finishes in 7th. Disappointing result for him, but at least he recovered from the really poor strategic decision that he did. Sergio Perez in 8th, Felipe Massa in his home race 9th, and Pastor Maldonado taking the final point of the final race of the season. And these are the final driver standings of the 2012 Formula 1 season. Hamilton wins the championship. We already knew that after the last race. He even increased his gap, and by quite a lot even. Fernando Alonso second in the championship. Then it is Vettel in third. Really disappointing second half of the season. You can't really call it any differently. Räikkönen fourth. Button fifth. Webber sixth. Then Kobayashi, best of the rest. Impressive and very consistent season from him, with the highlight of course being his second place in the Japanese Grand Prix last time out. Schumacher beats his teammate now after the points finish in the final race of the season. Rosberg in 9th, but of course Schumacher with his win in Monaco has the better finishing position. Hülkenberg manages to crawl into the top 10. Then it is Massa, Perez, Grosjean, Maldonado, Senna, Ricciardo and Paul di Resta. The final point scorers of this season, Vern, Kovalainen and Petrov, stayed without any points. And now, of course, the Constructors' Championship. McLaren Mercedes also wins this one by a landslide. Red Bull is in second, Ferrari third. Then it is Lotus. Mercedes just gets back into fifth with the final race of this season. Just 1 point ahead of Sauber in sixth. Strong season for the Swiss outfit. And then it is Force India in 7th, Williams in 8th, Toro Rosso 9th, and Caterham without any points in 10th. And that has been it for the 2012 Formula 1 season in AMS2 in virtual reality. But of course, there will be a new season starting in 2 weeks' time. So I hope you're all excited to see which season will be happening next. A little spoiler here, it will be a season that is a lot earlier than 2012. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe to not miss anything on this channel, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.